Crimea is no longer just a battlefield. It has become the most dangerous place in the Ukraine war. Russia and Ukraine are risking everything here. Every move could change the war. Why is Crimea so critical? Today, we break it all down. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most critical areas in the Ukraine war, Crimea. Once considered a quiet part of the conflict, Crimea has now turned into the most dangerous battlefield in the region. This shift has not happened overnight. It is the result of strategic decisions, military build-ups, and political stakes that both Russia and Ukraine cannot ignore. The peninsula sits in a key position along the Black Sea. Whoever controls Crimea controls vital sea routes. Ukraine sees it as a chance to regain lost territory. Russia considers it essential to its security and influence in the region. The conflict has escalated with advanced drones, missile strikes, and heavy troop movements. Every day, new reports emerge showing the intensity of clashes. This is not just about territory, it is about dominance, morale, and global perception. Analysts warn that the situation could spiral further if mismanaged. Civilians in the region are also at risk. The human cost is rising. Understanding Crimea's importance helps explain why international attention is sharply focused here. In this video, we will break down all the reasons, strategies, and risks that make Crimea the center of one of the most dangerous battlefields in the modern war. Crimea is not just land, it is a strategic hub. Its position on the Black Sea allows for control of naval routes and access to the Mediterranean. Russia's Black Sea Fleet is based here, making it essential for Moscow's military operations and supply lines. For Ukraine, regaining control means restricting Russia's naval movements and securing its southern borders. The peninsula's ports, airfields, and military bases have all become targets in the ongoing war. Control over Crimea affects regional trade, energy transport, and the ability to project power. Ukraine has used drones and precision missiles to disrupt Russian operations, signaling that even heavily fortified positions are vulnerable. This has made the battlefield highly volatile. Analysts describe the current situation as a high-stakes chessboard where each move can shift momentum. Both sides are preparing for long-term engagements with advanced weaponry, intelligence operations, and electronic warfare playing crucial roles. The terrain itself adds challenges. Coastal cliffs, urban settlements, and military installations create complex combat zones. Troop deployments are heavy, and logistics are difficult due to the peninsula's limited access points. The ongoing tension has also caught global attention, with NATO and neighboring countries monitoring developments closely. Crimea's strategic importance ensures that no side will back down easily. Its geography, resources, and military value combine to make it one of the most dangerous battlegrounds in today's Ukraine war. Since the start of the conflict, both Russia and Ukraine have intensified their military presence around Crimea. Russia has fortified key positions with advanced air defense systems, missile batteries, and thousands of troops. Ukraine, on the other hand, has increased intelligence operations, drone strikes, and mobile artillery to challenge Russian control. This buildup has made the region extremely tense, as any miscalculation could escalate into a larger confrontation. Satellite images show the movement of heavy vehicles, new bunkers, and supply convoys, indicating that both sides are preparing for prolonged engagements. The battlefield is no longer limited to traditional land combat. Cyber warfare, electronic jamming, and surveillance operations are now standard tactics. Drones provide real-time reconnaissance and have even targeted critical infrastructure. Every strike and counterstrike raises the stakes further. The human cost is also increasing, as civilians are caught between fortified zones and active combat areas. Logistics is a major challenge, with supply lines vulnerable to attacks. Military analysts warn that the current buildup could trigger a decisive battle if either side tries to gain an upper hand too quickly. International observers are closely monitoring these developments, emphasizing that Crimea is not just a local issue, but a flashpoint for global security. The intensity, preparation, and high stakes make Crimea one of the most dangerous military hotspots in the ongoing Ukraine war. Crimea is more than a battlefield, it is a symbol of political power and national pride. Russia views Crimea as non-negotiable, a part of its sovereign territory after the 2014 annexation. Losing control would not only be a strategic setback, but a massive blow to national credibility and political influence. Ukraine, meanwhile, sees reclaiming Crimea as a historic and moral imperative. The peninsula represents territorial integrity, sovereignty, and a crucial step in reversing losses from previous years. Political messaging from both sides is intense. Leaders use Crimea to rally domestic support and frame the conflict as central to national survival. Internationally, Crimea is a test case for diplomacy, sanctions, and alliances. Every military movement has political implications, with global powers weighing in, warning, or supporting actions behind the scenes. This adds pressure on commanders and policymakers, making decisions far more complex. Public perception and morale are tightly linked to events in Crimea. Social media amplifies the stakes, showing images of destruction, troop movements, and civilians affected. The political dimension ensures that any escalation could have consequences beyond the battlefield, influencing negotiations, foreign aid, and international support. The combination of military danger and political symbolism makes Crimea uniquely high risk. Commanders must balance tactical objectives with political repercussions, making each decision critical in this ongoing, high-stakes war. While the focus is often on military strategy, civilians in Crimea face severe challenges. Reports indicate displacement, shortages of essential supplies, and constant fear of conflict escalation. Residential areas, hospitals, and schools have been impacted by military operations. Both Ukraine and Russia have warned citizens about potential attacks, adding to the tension. Humanitarian access is limited, making it difficult for aid agencies to provide support. Civilians often have to navigate checkpoints, curfews, and the threat of artillery strikes. Communication lines can be disrupted, leaving families isolated and anxious. The psychological toll is enormous. Children and elderly residents face trauma from constant alerts, explosions, and uncertainty about the future. Local economies suffer as trade, tourism, and industry are disrupted by conflict and security restrictions. Water and electricity supplies are often interrupted, making daily life a struggle. International organizations continue to urge both sides to protect civilians and allow aid delivery. The human cost emphasizes that Crimea is not just a strategic battleground, but a humanitarian crisis. Awareness of civilian conditions adds context to military and political decisions. Their experiences highlight the real dangers of the region. Any miscalculation could escalate both human suffering and military consequences. Civilians remain at the center of this highly volatile environment, underlining why Crimea has become one of the most dangerous areas in the Ukraine war. Technology has transformed Crimea into a highly dangerous battlefield. Both Russia and Ukraine are using advanced weapons, drones, and electronic warfare to gain advantages. Drones provide live surveillance, identify targets, and even carry small payloads to strike key positions. Missile systems on both sides target military infrastructure and supply lines, making movement extremely risky. Electronic jamming and cyber attacks disrupt communications, creating confusion in the battlefield. Even satellite imaging is being used to track troop movements and anticipate enemy strategies. Modern technology has increased the precision of attacks, but also raised the stakes. A single miscalculation can cause severe damage to troops or civilian areas. Commanders must integrate intelligence, technology, and strategy in real-time decisions. The battlefield is constantly changing, with new equipment and tactics deployed daily. For example, mobile artillery and rapid response drones make it harder for static defenses to hold. Russia has invested heavily in fortifying Crimea with radar, missile shields, and air defense systems. Ukraine, in turn, uses asymmetric tactics, including covert operations and targeted strikes. These technological advancements create a high-risk environment for both soldiers and civilians. The combination of modern warfare tools, strategic terrain, and political pressure makes Crimea uniquely volatile. The integration of cutting-edge technology into combat operations has intensified the danger, making this peninsula one of the most complex battlefields in modern military history. Crimea's importance extends far beyond Ukraine and Russia. Global powers are closely monitoring the situation, recognizing that any escalation could affect regional and international stability. NATO countries, the European Union, and the United States have all issued statements warning against further escalation. Military analysts around the world study troop movements, supply lines, and strategic decisions in Crimea. The peninsula's proximity to key shipping lanes and energy routes gives it global significance. Media coverage ensures that events in Crimea reach a worldwide audience in real time, influencing public opinion and foreign policy. Sanctions, diplomatic pressure, and military aid are all linked to what happens in the region. Every attack, counterattack, or strategic movement is analyzed for broader implications. Countries supporting Ukraine provide intelligence, weapons, and financial aid, while Russia seeks to maintain control and secure its military foothold. This international scrutiny increases the pressure on both sides. Leaders must weigh battlefield decisions against global reactions. A single misstep could trigger diplomatic crisis or expand the conflict. The constant attention also raises the stakes for propaganda, information warfare, and political messaging. This international dimension makes Crimea not just a local battlefield, but a geopolitical hotspot. Global eyes on the conflict contribute to heightened tension, making it one of the most dangerous regions in the Ukraine war today. Controlling Crimea is not just about troops and weapons. Logistics play a critical role in the battlefield. Both Russia and Ukraine face challenges in maintaining supply lines under constant threat of attack. Roads, bridges, and ports are monitored, targeted, and occasionally destroyed to disrupt operations. Maintaining fuel, ammunition, and food is essential for sustaining troops. Russia has fortified key supply points, but Ukrainian strikes and drone attacks have shown these can be vulnerable. Ukraine's strategy relies on mobility, intelligence, and targeted attacks to disrupt Russian logistics. This ongoing battle for resources adds another layer of danger to the conflict. Even well-prepared forces can face shortages if supply chains are interrupted. Winter conditions, limited access points, and coastal terrain make logistics even more complex. Troops must be highly trained in rapid response and flexible deployment. Commanders carefully coordinate every shipment, considering the risk of ambush or drone attack. The balance between offensive operations and securing supply lines is delicate. Mismanagement can lead to severe losses or stalled offensives. Logistics also affects civilian areas, as local infrastructure is often damaged or commandeered for military use. Understanding the importance of supply lines highlights why Crimea remains highly contested and dangerous. Control over resources, movement, and reinforcement capacity can determine the outcome of battles in the region, emphasizing the high stakes for both military and political leaders. Crimea carries a constant risk of escalation. Both Russia and Ukraine know that actions here can provoke stronger responses, not just locally but internationally. Any miscalculation or unexpected strike could widen the conflict or draw in outside powers. The presence of advanced weapons, fortified positions, and high troop concentrations increases the chance of accidental or intentional escalation. Cyber attacks, drone strikes, and missile launches could trigger rapid retaliatory responses. Analysts warn that a full-scale engagement in Crimea could have consequences far beyond the battlefield. International mediation efforts are ongoing, but tensions remain high. Leaders must carefully weigh offensive strategies against defensive needs. Political pressures, national pride, and strategic objectives make restraint difficult. Meanwhile, misinformation and propaganda amplify perceived threats, creating panic or urgency in decision-making. Even small clashes have the potential to spiral into larger confrontations. Civilians remain in danger as the intensity of operations increases. Escalation could also affect global energy markets, trade routes, and alliances. The combination of military readiness, political stakes, and global attention makes Crimea uniquely volatile. This region is no longer just a local conflict zone, it is a flashpoint with potentially far-reaching consequences. The ongoing threat of escalation underscores why Crimea is considered the most dangerous battlefield in the Ukraine war, demanding careful monitoring, strategic planning, and international awareness. In conclusion, Crimea has become the most dangerous battlefield in the Ukraine war due to its strategic location, military buildup, political stakes, civilian impact, and technological integration. Control over the peninsula affects regional dominance, global attention, and the balance of power between Russia and Ukraine. Both sides are investing heavily in troops, weapons, and logistics to secure their objectives, while civilians continue to face severe risks. The use of modern technology, drones, and electronic warfare has intensified the conflict, making every move critical. International scrutiny adds another layer of complexity, as global powers monitor developments and respond diplomatically or militarily. Escalation risks remain high, emphasizing that this is not just a local battlefield, but a region of global significance. Understanding the dynamics of Crimea provides insight into the broader Ukraine war, highlighting the stakes for military, political, and civilian actors alike. If you found this breakdown informative, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our updates on Crimea and other global conflicts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think Crimea's future will shape the Ukraine war? Stay tuned for more detailed analysis in our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and stay informed.